Being a pilot is awesome, but only in the movies. In real life, be prepared for a series of difficult challenges, exhaustive training, flying, simulations in flying, theory, and more flying. And only at the end is there a Saturday party. If you want to be a pro, there's no better fighter than the F-22 Raptor. Sure, it isn't the latest or greatest, and in fact, it may even be retired from the US military soon, but it's the aircraft from which aces are made. You can feel every facet of the plane's movement and flight as you become one with it. So what's a typical day in the life of an F-22 pilot like? It all starts with an early rise in the barracks, which has become like a second home to you. After a long morning workout that includes running cross-country distances, passing strength tests, and additional physical activity through weight training, you're finally awake and get a little breakfast. Then comes the moment you've been waiting for, your first flight in your own Raptor. The comfortable seat, the familiar dashboard, the custom-fitted helmet, the airplane's wings. It all becomes an extension of your body, giving you additional abilities. You fire up the engine, zoom down the runway, and before you know it, you're already soaring in the clouds. Your next task is simple. Make sure that all systems are running smoothly. You and your F-22 must always be combat ready, so no button should fail. After completing your checks, you bank sharply as you descend down to the airfield and land. It's time for lunch. Pilots are always fed well-balanced meals, so you'll never go hungry. After lunch, it's time for training theory. This is when you develop new combat strategies, discuss interactions between pilots, or learn something new about aviation. Can you guess what awaits you next? That's right, more training. But not the classic kind. This time it's with digital simulators. There are a variety of them. For example, there's an artificial cockpit where you can safely hone your skills and gain new insight when it comes to piloting. You're even fitted with a special suit that can simulate real G-forces as you fly. Now that you've improved your skills, the only thing left is a half-hour ride in a centrifuge to test your vestibular system before heading back out for an evening flight. This is a critical moment for you because your entire squad is given a trial task that you must complete at the highest level. The tasks are created by the commanding headquarters and can include missions like capturing an enemy base, intercepting enemy fighters, and so on. Of course, you won't be fighting against real people, but against drones. Upon receiving your mission briefing, you fire up your Raptor and take to the skies once again. After destroying a dozen drones, you return to base where your senior officers break down every minute of your flight and point out each mistake you made as well as everything you did well. Finally, after a whole day of training and sorties, you have one more training session. That's right, it's back to the running, testing, and weight training from which there's no escape. But after that, you still have time for a good dinner and even some leisure time. Although most likely, all you'll want to do is lie down and sleep until morning. Of course, this all sounds like some kind of hard labor camp, but believe me, pilots have plenty of options when it comes to their free time. Training bases have lounges with comfortable couches, board games, and snacks. Pilots also have access to a sauna where they can freshen up and relax on a massage chair. For those who want something more active, there's a recreation center where you can play basketball, soccer, and table tennis. If you get hungry, there's a large cafe on base with delicious food and drinks where you can grab a bite to eat and hang out. There are even outlets for creative people, including a room full of musical instruments at your disposal. Come and play. And Saturdays are the best of all because that's when they hold parties for all personnel so you can really let loose. That is, of course, if you're not on duty. Now, doesn't that all sound a lot more interesting? But before you go jumping into that F-22 Raptor, you must first undergo special training, which of course always starts with learning. You should only embark on such a difficult journey if you truly want to serve your country, not because you aspire to become some sort of supersonic maverick character. Your time studying at the academy can last up to 7 years, and then you'll still have a lot of work ahead. If your decision has been made, then it's time for a physical. Your age, health, and physical dimensions will determine whether you have the potential to become an Air Force pilot. From that moment on is when the real challenges begin. You must be less than 30 years old, and your heart, hearing, and vision should be perfect. Even your height and weight matter. A prospective aviator must be between 5'6" and 6'5" with an average body weight. This is probably why there are so many good-looking pilots that ladies go crazy for. Many people have probably seen videos of pilots being spun around an incredibly fast centrifuge. Well, that's just one of many simulators that must be done on a regular basis. It's at this stage when the majority of trainees lose their desire to become a pilot, and it's only the beginning of a much longer journey. But if you feel driven by courage and confidence and meet all the specified criteria, then you can begin your coursework at an accredited university or the Air Force Academy. To become a pilot directly in the Air Force, you must first achieve a rank of second lieutenant. Only then can you officially declare your intention to join the Air Force. Think all the hard parts are behind you now? Nope. 24 hours of fly time, 25 hours of theory, the study of aerodynamics and maneuvering, simulator work, and so much more await you. What we end up with is exhaustive training, exceptional knowledge, and inhumane testing throughout the entire year. Trainees' health is closely monitored at this stage, and if it worsens, it could mean the end of their career. But don't think that such high requirements were created just to intimidate and discourage applicants. They're in fact quite necessary because of the changes that can occur in the body during flight. If you have a weak heart or lungs, then you simply cannot withstand such frequent changes in altitude, and especially dangerous situations would almost certainly ensure your untimely death. Only 1% of brave souls who reach this stage and pass it successfully get the opportunity to go on to advanced training. These are the best of the best. Only the candidates who've passed extensive background checks and scored highest in various physical, psychological, and academic tests will be able to see the cockpit of an F-22 fighter. If this happens for you, then congratulations, new training and testing awaits. What'd you expect? After all, a fighter pilot must always be in top physical condition and ready for combat at a moment's notice. Finally, you're an official member of the Air Force and are living in the barracks. The next morning, you wake up and head to the gym. After meeting all the standards, it's time for breakfast. You are sitting in the cafeteria with your fellow pilots discussing upcoming plans when suddenly... What's that? An alarm? A squadron of enemy fighters has been discovered crossing the border of your country. They've already attacked one base and you have to spring into action immediately to help stop them. This is the moment when all your trials and training pay off. It only takes you a matter of minutes before you're back in the cockpit of your F-22, perhaps for the last time. But you feel no fear. You're a highly trained professional and know what you're doing. Take off. You run through your systems checks, everything's normal and ready for battle. At supersonic speeds of 1,500 miles per hour, you and your allies soar through the sky, leaving behind a deafening shockwave. Your base is already on the horizon, and the radar detects a dozen unidentified objects in the air. The enemy. After discussing tactics over the radio with the rest of the pilots, each of you selects a target. With the push of a button, a high-speed AIM-120 launches from under your wing. The dogfight's underway, a type of battle that's incredibly difficult to win. An enemy fighter appears in front of you and has you directly in their sights. You have no choice but to climb. You soon find yourself above the clouds, and it seems like you've gotten away when suddenly your radar detects a rocket flying right at you. Your whole life flashes before your eyes. But then your cool-headedness takes over as you deploy your flares. The rocket loses your Raptor and flies away in an unknown direction. Your opponent doesn't miss a beat and begins firing their gun. Your plane's badly damaged and something must be done quickly. A sharp bank, a shot, an AIM-9M with infrared guidance homes in on the enemy plane like a predatory hawk. A direct hit. The enemy dissolves somewhere among the clouds. You quickly descend and discover that the Allied forces have won. It was a hellish fight, but you got through it. The command back at headquarters awards you the title of Ace. And finally, you can take a well-deserved rest. All that training wasn't for nothing, because now your homeland is safe. And with that, our video has come to an end. You can support the channel by giving it a thumbs up if you liked it. We worked really hard on it and would love to hear your feedback in the comments below the video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.